Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood podcaster, Rafa Esparza. This is a very different podcast. You're used to normally seeing me talk about the jiu-jitsu, the MMA. Today, we got back to our professional wrestling roots. I've got Mike Stallings over here. We've got a lot of topics to go through, but more than that, we want to say hello to all of you. It's been a while. And yes, we've had to live through some COVID, so it feels like we haven't done this show in 10 years.
But see that we get to blame it on. I can blame it on COVID now, before not just my laziness.
One of my friends actually just sent me a note, and it just said first day of MMA class, and he's getting his kid in MMA, aka having him learn some wrestling. But he's also a huge professional wrestling fan, so big credit to you, Ed. Now, you were telling me this off air, and we're about to go. Why don't we just get straight to it? What is your current thoughts on the product? Because everybody seems to have an opinion on it, especially every comment section that you're finding for pro wrestling at this moment, Mike.
Well, I found myself, I'll just tell you this, don't watch NXT or any WWF product after you watch AEW. If you're in it for wrestling. I made that mistake yesterday, and it felt kind of funny. But yeah, the state of wrestling is wild right now. No, so you have to be like super hardcore to be a part of this community. I mean, there's been really too much that's gone on since we last talked to like cover it all and stay on the up and up because everything's so instant. But I mean, with all the second Me Too, the speaking out, and then I guess Marty Jannetty killed somebody. I guess.
There's a reason why we don't have little topic brackets, because Marty Jannetty killed a guy ? Doesn't quite make for a little banner that goes well here.
No, he didn't kill him. He made him disappear. So I mean, in quotations. Okay. But people love that kind of stuff, like when they're just like allegedly, just to kind of let you wander. When he's basically told. But I was reading the tweets that like somehow he was also homophobic and racist in the tweet. Like he hit the like trifecta. Like somebody won a lot of money on the Marty Jannetty tweet. Oh shit, my cat.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. You have the dog, I have a cat. No, but that's a lot to do in one tweet. You know what I mean? So I guess he's getting investigated on. And then I was trying to read on that, and then all of a sudden Hugo Sanetovich, a former WWE announcer, said Killer Cross was a hitman. So I guess that's your modern day Nathan Jones. And then I guess even the show had to figure out something to do and got super hardcore, and we're going to the underground.
Well, let's stay on Marty Jannetty for a second, because Marty Jannetty has always been our version of I'm the Mary, you're the Rhoda. So it's always, I'm Shawn Michaels, you're Marty Jannetty. And now it is taking on a very dark consequence for everybody who's had this conversation with their friends.
Well, he's still going to be this is like with an asterisk though, that's still going to be the marker, right?
Yep. You're
still going to be the Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Who's the second tier? Like you're Jimmy Uso, I'm Jey Uso, and that's a tie. That's 50-50. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people who are going to be like, I'm the Razor Ramon and you're the Diesel. Like, I don't know how this works.
But in kayfabe, going through the barbershop window, there's a lot involved with that. Like CTE. Like he probably spent a lot of time. He got hooked on pills because he had to go to the hospital because he got glass. And so, I was watching some stuff, and I guess that they had a match. Marty Jannetty was also always supposed to get a push, but I guess they always found him drunk in the locker room. But one time Shawn Michaels was lying about it. And because he was mad that he didn't sell the proper shoulder or something. And so Mr. Perfect went to his defense, and they had a match on Raw. Remember when Marty Jannetty won the belt on Raw? That his big to-do, his like one time in the spotlight. And Mr. Perfect had to be a part of it because he was the guy that in fact did tell on Shawn Michaels just to like rub it in. He was there on camera to celebrate, which is just another asterisk in the ballad of Marty Jannetty. That should be a song. Like, where's Sebastian Bach when you need him?
Well, he's pretending to be Chris Jericho when you're looking too hard, because apparently Chris Jericho can't just lead things properly. Now he's got to pick up people through debates. And you know what the nice part about this is? This is the most absurd sort of things to get notes at and then say, like, yeah, I'll watch that debate. That sounds probably better than what's going to be on Raw.
So either you have to be so hardcore, like above and beyond the line, or just completely sarcastic and hacky. There's no, everybody hates the middle of it. Because Jericho was like trying to genuinely be nice to Sebastian Bach until he kind of took a sarcastic complimentary tone, basically what Pat McAfee was doing with Adam Cole this whole time, which that's a whole nother subject, which completely.
Oh, you know what? You have your phone accessible to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send you. I purposely didn't send you these notes, but the beautiful thing about hosting a podcast about MMA is that when things cross over, there are some fans who love to let me know what they think of things. And I had one particular fan that gave probably the best series of reactions. So what I'm going to let you do is I'm going to let you look at these real quick while I go ahead and talk to the folks. If you're not following us at Real Hill Section on YouTube, on Facebook, what's wrong with you? Second of all, tell us what you think of the show. Feel free to chime in. We've got it live right now, which means we'll have the ability to go ahead and talk to you directly. And you'll be able to get real-time reactions like this from Mike as he is looking through and reading over a conversation a fan sent to me. Now, Mike, you don't have to say the person's name. I would prefer you don't. But can you give a summary of what it is you just read?
That's a lot to digest. I'm gathering the guy thinks it's real.
Yes. So when I put up that Adam Cole went on the show and was cursing and said, chef's kiss, this is great. This dude's like, dude, that's totally, nah, man, that's real. And I go, what do you mean it's real? He goes, man, Triple H, he like extended an offer. Like it's pretty real, man. And I go,
he's not going to break kayfabe.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, Triple H is going to go on there, especially when they're sagging ratings. They need whatever fucking angle they can get right now.
I was liking it because I was bringing up why wrestling was good, and one of the things that's missing was one of the better things was Okada and Omega because it was such a 2-year slow burn, and they were doing that with McAfee and Adam Cole. Like every now and then, it'd be like months and months in between where they'd keep jabbing each other. And the crescendo of it, like they should have left this alone for at least a couple months. But I see them trying to shotgun it when it's like hot topic. But I think that's just my problem with NXT. It was just so overproduced the way they went about doing it. I've never seen that many camera shots and different camera angles just for an announcer during it. It made the match hard to watch. I think it was the Red Dragons versus the Imperiums, right? The British guys for the belts or some shit. So I kind of flickered through it, and then what got me going is because there was so much heat on this McAfee bullshit that when Adam Cole went over to talk to him, they just stopped wrestling. The match just stopped. I yelled at the TV, "Why is the match stopping? Well, how dare you?" Like, okay, because they were just
watching. Psychology says, hold on, I want to see how this plays out. If time out, let's see what's happening with a more important trending topic in front of us.
Everything stopped. It was so let me ask you something, not to fast forward it. I know we're not the traditional reviewing, and anybody doesn't know Pat McAfee then exited the building and then got his, like, I don't know, it was like his encore, or like the spotlight followed him back onto the stage and he got to say his final whatever bitch thing is. Let me ask you something. So if Pat McAfee was a quarterback, like would his finishing move be like something out of the shotgun that involved throwing something, because he has the most devastating punt in the game now? Just because he was a punter? Is that so Gronk probably had like a shoulder block, right?
Yeah. Gronk is 100% the finishing move for Tom Brady. So if Tom Brady was a pro wrestler, it'd be like, now for my finisher, Gronk, get him. No. Here's what I can tell you. This is so great because I go, of course, his finisher is a punt kick. They won't let Randy Orton do it, or every once in a while they'll be like, you know what, we need to revisit why Seth is basically stomping the fuck out of motherfuckers on a show. But when they let him do that, I go, yes, and thank God they cut that angle as beautifully as they did, because that was a terrible fucking. It's like not even sell. I mean, Adam's doing the best he can to make somebody go over, but Jesus Christ,
died.
Was that hilarious?
He died. He died. Shawn Michaels, we're gonna get a dog there. Like, he died. He was out from a kick to the gut that I've gone through many times just from being on in the 4th grade, basically. You know what I mean? But the only thing that would have been better if he would have done like how when punters used to do the whole stiff, their arms would come down, like, they would take their total form. I don't get it. I don't get how that's. Is he a wrestler now? No. Let me ask you something. Is this just because Gronk didn't work out?
No, I feel like this is one of those things where Pat has a built-in hardcore audience. So part of the reason why this is funny to me is because Pat's done the slow build of making a kind of Dan Patrick-esque vibe. He's done the WWE thing. So there's been a bit of a slow burn because I'm pretty sure he's been like, hey, I'd be interested to do this if you guys were interested. Then it just becomes a matter of who do we put together? And when the Dubs is really hurting for recognition, and when all the fans want to talk about all the ratings that they have no idea what they're talking about, they just want to bring shit up. When in actuality, the new ratings are trending, and the new trending is just having stunts happen. So while before you'd look at, say, DX and Mike Tyson and you'd say, oh my God, that's a massive thing. Now you're finding people who have brands who can bring in a certain demographic. So when my friend was messaging me and telling me it was real, the first thing I called him was a civilian. The second thing I said to him was, here's the reason why. The ratings aren't great. So yeah, you're probably getting played. And he's thinking to himself, why would that happen? Why wouldn't get played? I'm too smart. I'm in on this. And it's like, you don't follow. And the thing that pissed me off the most was that the dude couldn't take the time, 5 minutes, to Google search Adam Cole, baby, because he would have figured out, oh shit, he's a heel and this is pro fucking normal.
The only percentage that works out in his favor, Raph, is but they said fuck. He said fuck. Which is, I mean, I guess that's the move. You can say shit on, even though Chuck Taylor had to say shit on TNT, but they just drop an S-bomb all the time. So I guess the fact that they dropped the F-bomb and that there was footage of it wasn't bleeped out made it seem, because they try to reenact the whole when Triple H pushed McAfee back twice, like how Adam Cole pushed the intern. And it was like, that's all Triple H is going to do if he's running run shot. He's just going to give him that pathway, which makes it look like, I don't know. I haven't seen Hamilton, but I'm guessing it was as good. You know what I mean? It was close to that. I think it was close to that. I'm guessing. I don't have.
Well, you know what? You only get one shot. That's a whole song.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's rapping. It's rapping, huh?
Yes, and by the way, nothing more hilarious than my dad messaging me, and he's a huge history buff, so he was excited about the concept of Hamilton. Not only did he tell me, son, yeah, I've got Disney Channel on my cable package, so I'll be able to see it. I was like, no, Dad, you have to get Disney Plus. You have to pay to go see it. It's only $7, but it's worth it. So my dad orders it, and he goes, son, that Hamilton thing, I didn't know they were rapping the whole time. I couldn't understand a word they were saying. Like, it was the most perfectly responsed timing by my dad, where it's just like, son, could hear you. All that jibber jabber. I can't with it. So to me,
does he know that Black is king though?
I'm not sure yet. We'll probably have to give him a run.
He has to. He has to.
The next thing
He's
you
trying
know,
to
we
search
find
for
out my
it, but
dad is like the message board moderator for Beehive Online. So yeah, it's entirely possible. Let's also talk about this. So part of the reason why I'm so excited about this, what's up, Nathan, is the fact that yes, we are getting in a time when people are starting to see these worlds meld again a little bit more. But that does make sense because he is a lifelong fan. And I have to be perfectly honest with you. If the Dubs ever came up to me and said, hey, listen, you've got this kind of grappling thing, it's built an audience and you're around, would you be interested? You better believe yes. And I would sell the fuck out of it. And unfortunately, I would lie to your face on air and tell you like, dude, I would never get in the ring. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Cut to me punt kicking fucking Daniel Bryan in 10 years when he's on his end tour. And we basically do a shoot grappling match. That's fine. I would be fine with that. And it would be fun.
I can't shudder to think about anything else that if you did step into that world that you would just get called down to the underground. You know what I mean?
So tell people how you have dubbed the underground, because I think it's really important people understand your idea of how they're shaping it right now.
The way I feel about it, I feel like it should be a punishment. I feel like that if you do something like whatever Nia Jax is doing, or you don't wear your mask or some bullshit, like you go like on a losing streak, that you should be forced to go. But then I don't get it because it's fun because there's 3 strippers, you know what I mean, a la Shotgun Saturday Night. I think I'm in the small percentage that like, oh no, I forgot about the trap door. That's right. It'd be a trap door. Definitely a trap door that with a slide that, you know, and that's why when there'll be like a match going on and 2 randoms and then like somebody would just randomly come down the slide, like A Christmas Story, but without the presents. And then they would have to fight one of the Viking Raiders, which was
that'd be so great if that is an actual like representation, a physical representation of somebody losing their push, that Vince just goes, you'll shoot your eye out, and like kicks them down. No, I just said I was gonna be Intercontinental Champion. No. So you're talking about something, and I want to bring up
all their pitches.
I want to bring up the idea. You talked about 3 strippers, which, by the way, tells you what kind of world we're living in right now. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And guess what? They don't do anything more than the people who used to dance on a beach house for MTV's The Grind. It's literally just them, and the shots of it look like they're straight out of an Austin Powers film, where they're just randomly inserted for absolutely no reason.
I would kind of want to watch Raw Underground more if Dan Cortez hosted it for sure.
He's not doing anything.
100%. Eric Nies against Dan Cortez, Raw Underground next week. It'll be like a real world invasion.
So let's discuss that, because a lot of people were angry that they've seen this concept before, and I have feelings that I don't feel are too far off from yours. So overall, as a concept, where do you stand on it?
So if you're going to stay in the world of the WWE, then you can't be a fan of the Owen Hart Dan Severn match at Owen Hart's house. And the lines, then you can't be a fan of the Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock whenever they set up that little weird UFC ring. Like you can't be like, oh, those are cool, because in like decor, it was cool. I liked it, and the whole fact it was if you watch the whole Raw, everybody's always gonna remember it. 1, because it was the worst Raw, and 2, it was the first time in a really long time where they segmented it out. Like we went to like. Remember how it used to be Raw's War, then we went to the War Zone. Like you went to the underground. You know what I mean? There's no incentive to it. It's basically poor man's Josh Barnett Bloodsport. You know what I mean? With Clowney, Shane McMahon, like on Adderall, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they might as well just have like a cocaine table and craps, right? Like the way he's acting, he's all over the place. I was waiting for him to drop like a subtle N bob because he was hanging out with the Hurt Process all of a sudden, like or put his fist up for George Floyd or some shit.
So my favorite thing so far is You know, Shane McMahon looks like he's doing an interpretation of Bill Hader's character of the weatherman that used to just die when he would go interview people on the street. So Herb Welch would just be over there and be like, "Hey, tell me something about this," doof, and then like hit them with the microphone. Because every time Shane was commentating on matches, he'd be like, "Oh, look at that! That's what's going on over here. Now let's look over this way. Man, that's crazy." And somebody proposed that they should have CM Punk do the announcing for it, but CM Punk maybe only has marginally more training than Shane McMahon, which isn't saying a lot. But I would propose this. I've got two ideas on this. One, I don't hate the Hurt Business as a name. I actually, when I heard them trademark that, I said, that's not a terrible stable name, especially for right now, because most stable names are terrible. And two, here's a thought for you guys. Do you think that this is all intentional? Because even though you guys want to dislike it because you want to dislike whatever the Dubs is going to do you not see the strategy behind it, which is to dilute the competition? If you're watching something like this and you become more put off with it, when the WWE takes it away, you will have weird negative feelings. Now, you won't think about Josh Barnett and be like, oh man, this sucks now. But you may have weird remembrances about it. I think it is a strategic play by the Dubs to not only try and do something different, which I'm for, but to also kind of level the playing field where they say, take away what their advantage is, and then what do they got?
Nobody's thinking like that. Nobody's thinking like that. They're just looking at the aesthetic of it. I don't like the Hurt Business only because Kenny King's not in it. Like Shelton, you're not my Kenny, okay? And just because I always name drop Kenny. I've known Kenny forever. Went to school with him. But they did that in TNA. Wasn't Samoa Joe and Loki in it too, I think? Where they were the BDC. But it's cool, but I don't understand why they got like all dressed up to go into the underground. Like why they had to put their suits on. That's just how they roll, or like some kind of weird. That just kind of stood out. Kind of like, is there going to be a dress code or? Well,
somebody put this up, and I think it's the best metaphor. It's a live action adaptation of NBA, or I'm sorry, what is it? Def Jam's Fight for New York. And I said,
oh the video game? God,
that's fucking genius. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, all it's missing is the Wu-Tang Clan in the background and Busta Rhymes just going, rawr.
The no holds barred. Or they're also missing, like, they have, okay, so have you seen the previews for that Seth Rogen movie coming out where there's two Seth Rogens, but like in the same camera shot? Like, so they have that technology. So why don't they just go full-blown Fight Club and just have it Shane McMahon's alter ego, like evil Shane McMahon, like be in the same room, like lurking, like, or would it have to look like a different person? Or it could just be Shane thinking like just all Jordan out, like all like 92 Dream Team jersey, like the whole, not like, I get it. It's refreshing. I kind of liked it. I would like it if it was like done in like segments, like if it was like non sequitur, they just showed 3 minutes of somebody whooping ass, and it didn't matter. If it didn't matter, it didn't matter, and like just leave it at that. Have it with no like dictation or like clarification. Just have that be a squash match, just to see somebody get thrown around, regardless of who it was. Don't have it be completely non sequitur and like display all these different styles. Almost like you can have a Brazilian dude, and you can start doing like a whole bunch of tripped out shit. But now, like, there needs to be a belt, right?
Yeah, I was telling some of these guys who do MMA and jiu-jitsu, I said, one, they're obviously biting off of us for WWE BJJ, but two, this does open the door, oddly, for some of the guys who have been courted by the WWE who do jiu-jitsu and MMA, because they've made the rounds, and I've heard rumors privately that they've expressed ideas to go over and train over at the Performance Center, and a couple have. So I'm intrigued to see if that would be the case.
I low-key did think, I was like, man, if they can only, which they weren't going to do because they had no idea, but like, what if they had it debuted Cain Velasquez yet? This would be perfect. Perfect for that. Ray could show up with an eye patch. Just yeah, can we talk about that too? We haven't talked about some of his fucking eyeball busting out. Antifa just burnt down a generator
Bring it up.
Seth Rollins threw.
So I want to, before we move on, talk about the idea of, similar to the MCU or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there should be a Raw Cinematic Universe, because Universe and Raw are already in the name. But the reason I bring that up is because when they said we're going to throw to something else, all I could think of was, I mean, that's cool, but you know what I want to see? If we're going to throw to other parts of the Raw universe, I want to see right after, like a 30-minute segment of Raw Underground, we go straight into a Judge Judy version of Taker's Court. He's retired now, so put him in that segment and have him say shit like, "Don't spit in my hand and tell me it's a rainbow, son." Like, I would love to see them do those interpretations.
Who's his bailiff?
Obviously Kane, and if you can't get Kane, then
no,
you get Virgil.
It can't be Kane. No, because it has to be somebody like super. It has to be somebody at least lesser. And Kane's too busy being the mayor. Like all of them, like Big Vis, like in a comedic role. Is he still alive?
No.
It's Big Vis.
Let's say no. I feel like that's the
no. So. Well, I always said like they should do like sitcoms. They should be doing like, remember like My Two Dads, but with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. It'd be like My Two Sweet Dads or something.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, My Two Sweet Dads. Nobody remembers that. That was one of Paul Reiser's first. And Dick Butkus was the. I believe I brought this up on the show before. Dick Butkus was the bartender.
It always made me really angry because I thought the other dude was essentially George Michael, and I thought Paul Reiser and George Michael would have been a vastly different show. And better.
I thought, dude, you think he was gonna be way bigger of a star too? That guy, he just had that. Like he was too, like he was almost John Stamos, but he was just too Kenny Loggins looking.
Yep, exactly. I mean? Well, all right, let's get to it. I want to hear your thoughts before your eye pops out. Oh, wait, that's the segment we're talking about. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the absurdity of Rey Mysterio Jr. and the Messiah, Seth Rollins.
Why? Just why? I just want to know. It's not Halloween, first of all. Like, that's all we fucking need is to watch. We're sitting here in quarantine, all stressed out about whatever we're stressed out about. That's all we need to watch is somebody's eyeball pop out, and then Seth did a really bad job of. And then when he threw up, like he was just throwing up water, and could you just not help but think about draws and Vince McMahon just going, he's gonna, yeah. And he was just so proud. Like Vince McMahon was like, finally somebody puked. It's been how long since me on the mat? Good boy, like hugged him over that shit. But like, I don't get. Like, if he's going to throw up about it, then why would you want to do that to somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess the other thing I couldn't help but think is, imagine already having enough nerves going out there to wrestle, know your match, know how things are going to go, know your marks, know your lines. Ray, did you bring your eyeball? Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I almost forgot the eyeball. Would have been the whole match. What a dummy. All right, give me that.
Just the night before, like, before you go to bed, putting it like in its own ice bath, making sure it's like all like squared away. Just like waking up. That'd be the yeah, like you said, that should be the mini movie. Like the eyeball's gone, like the day before the match. Like and this antics happened into
when Taker said that he left his uniform at home on the Last Dance documentary. Just imagine Rey Mysterio Jr. going to another performance center moment and being like, oh my god, I left it at home alone. Like that would have been way better than this. And then and Dominic, see, that's a better storyline already. Did it, fixed it.
Okay, so are they giving Dominic a match just because they want to re-sign Rey Mysterio, or are they like high on this kid? Like, are everybody like, it's cool how he swings a candlestick at his age, so like that's gonna move the needle, or is it because they don't want Ray to go to AEW?
I think they want to keep that hot Latin audience. Think about it, dude. They went from courting Cain Velasquez to now just trying to keep Rey Mysterio's son on payroll. Hey, I'm just telling you like it is, which
How
is
dare
this.
you?
Yes, it does seem like a blockade, but that's why I'm telling you the whole thing about doing Raw Underground is they could have done it even with the fucking ring post, but they chose not to. I think sometimes they make a strategic decision to just play a little defense so that the other people don't have their main pillars. And in terms of AEW, you can already plug Rey Mysterio into 5 different storylines. Because for God's sakes, they put in fucking Eric Bischoff, and I said, that fits.
That was amazing. Yeah, I really like that, but it's almost like there's so much shit going on, like in any other day and age that would be like hot. That'd be like #1 hot topic.
Right.
There is no representation. Okay, my #1 hot topic. Hold on, to go back to what you're saying. There's Mexican representation only in NXT, and they're kidnappers. And then there's Latin representation in AEW, and they just fucked up Trent's mom's minivan, which is like the most bullshit. But this is the most heat. I was more heartbroken about that than Ray's eyeball. Like, that's Sue's van. You know what I mean? Like, not only was that entrance the best thing I've seen in fucking a really long time, but the whole fact that they're turning this into an angle and this is what we're getting heat over is amazing. Because you don't fuck with, that's like a whole Pulp Fiction trope. You don't fuck with the man's car, but then my mom's minivan, like shit, that's out of line. So that was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, how are those kids gonna get to
the
mall?
I was watching
the mall. Shit, makes sense now.
No, but Chucky's in trouble because he told Sue that he was gonna look after it. Just a little AEW, just does a little thing so good that it was a 12-man fucking tag team match, and then when the fucking Revival got hurt, and the minute I was like, oh, Kenny's gonna go with, or Hangman Page is gonna go with him, and just to have that little sprinkle of that little slow like dissension is fucking wonderful. Like they did that, and to have 12 people pull that shit off. It's almost hard to watch Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Although Zack Ryder's debut was hot garbage.
Well, what are you gonna do? I mean, there's a certain point where I think they're using different numbers to leverage. So with, Matt coming in and doing his thing, you just kind of look at it and say, like, yeah, dude, you just belong here. That's not a surprise. We just kind of know you're here. So do your thing.
Why wouldn't? Okay, so if they're gonna do, so there's the whole thing with Darby Allin and John Moxley is they respected each other, and the whole Scorpio Sky and Cody Rhodes things that they respect each other. So why couldn't they have Zack Ryder be one of the guys that accepted the open challenge, and to have them a respectful buddy? Oh, they're best friends, but they have to fight each other. Zack Ryder wouldn't be diminished by taking the loss. They looked. Well, he was just waiting for a hot tag yesterday after they gave Silver and or the old Beaver boys, Silver and whatever his name is. Like all the offense, they looked great. I was like, oh, and Reynolds. I was like, these guys are great. And then I had to explain to somebody that doesn't know wrestling. I was like, this is how a hot tag works. And that was it. Like, but I mean, I don't know if it's a big enough name. So,
you know what, dude? Let them play with that a little bit. I think part of it is they just kind of have a set course that they're going to go. Obviously, Moxley is going to be their top draw. But you do see that if they do take their time and they do develop, even like Orange Cassidy, you couldn't have convinced me that Orange Cassidy would have such an entertaining program with Chris Jericho. But here we are, and yet they found a way to develop it. I think it's just
it was the way they did it. It was the way they did it. I was watching with somebody that doesn't like wrestling. They're from another country, and they watched the whole debate, and they was like, "Wow, that was really intense." I was like, "Yeah," because the way they built it up. Jericho did 3 shots at him, didn't say shit. Cassidy threw back a "shut up, you idiot," basically did old Jericho shtick basically to him, and then he broke the whole shtick, which was smart because nobody expected him to explain the essence of his character at Jericho. Oh, you're going to pick a fight with somebody that doesn't talk. And that was what was good about it. You don't have to do Yeah, like, look, WWF, take notes. This is how you build somebody up, regardless. And the person I was watching it with is like, oh, I want to see this match. I was just based off that segment, no matter how hokey it was. I mean, and the smart marks were loving it because you damn well better get a blueberry smoothie with extra whey protein and pumpkin seeds. Then next time you go to fucking Jamba Juice, I'm telling you, if that's not a shirt, I don't know. You know what I mean? The dude's a genius.
Yeah.
So,
well,
don't watch
that's
NXT after that.
That's what happens when you get the demo god running things all over for us. So I want to bring this last thing up as we start to circle around. The last thing I really got to talk about for at least this installment is going to be a nice cautionary tale that turns great, which is, sure, you can get your notice here, but a lot of people are parlaying that into podcasts or different sorts of branded merch. Good for them. Talking Shopomania was something that I think was a smart marketing thing that made me pretty entertained for a number of really stupid reasons. So I have to compliment the gents for that, because for me, I was looking at it, I go, I have like no real dog in this. I guess I'll watch it. And when I watched it and they said in the marketing, they were like, it's going to be like Hot Shots. I said, oh, well, have at. I love fucking Hot Shots. And I think that tagline alone, between that and the actual product, made me look at them and say, there's a viable career for enough of these guys to have an afterlife that makes them intrinsically more valuable. So it's not even you have to go to another league at this point. You could literally just build your shit off your own. And it was essentially a glorified professional wrestling version of backyard wrestling with a little sense of humor. And I'd be interested to see how they did with it. But I thought it was pretty good. And they got a shit ton of cameos in it.
But there's a place for that. There's always a place for. So there's like one spot for that, right? In every show, comedy. Like PWG used to have the slow-mo, what WWE would consider Doink. Would that be considered comedy at that point? Like in Ring of Honor.
I'm pretty sure
Ring
a
of Honor
6-year-old kid is looking at their dad being like, you think this is fucking funny?
What would be like the oddities?
Yes.
When they were doing their whole thing. Ring of Honor is good for like Curry Man and Colt Cabana, but to do a full blown, I think they tested the waters with it when they did the Smoky Mountain jib on, and the whole essence of it is, like you said, the cameos, the names. That you could have anybody doing that stuff, and people are going to think it's. But if you have dudes that just got released by the WWE who get it, then yeah, of course it's not gonna. It felt like they shotgunned it together a little bit, but why? I don't know. I don't know. A whole show, like you said, you wanted a parallel universe. Wouldn't this work anywhere? You know what I mean? Isn't that what Matt Hardy was doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'd watch 12 of them. Like if they had 12 pay-per-views a year, would you watch all 12?
No, but you know what? You can sequence that enough with your brand. So using a podcast to launch that made me go, that'd be a nice dream, but I don't see a real heel section wrestling federation anytime soon.
But here's the thing. I watched The Floor is Lava. Like I've the whole season. Like there was no, you know what I mean? Like in one there was no. So is it that kind of fodder to where you could keep mindless wrestling but they kind of want it to be like smarky, stupid. Like Carl Anderson posted, the guy with the book is a champion. Doesn't that make sense? You don't understand what having the book means. You know what I mean? That's kind of.
Think about it like this, though. Think about them making fun of their contract negotiations with the Young Bucks, and then saying, "Oh my God." Like we didn't get to do that with WCW. We didn't get to do that with ECW. We didn't get to do that with any of this shit. So now there's a way to get around it, and to have a countdown to when your 90-day no contract, no compete clause ends is like, holy fuck. You know what? If you're somebody who is a professional wrestler watching around at this time, this is an element for you to pay attention to, learn from, and figure out how to continue branding yourself, because I think these guys' creativity continues to go and prove new, exciting revenue streams for all of this. And at the very least, they're like, we're not going to make any money off this. you know that they're doing it for the pure entertainment of that got them more over than anything they did in the WWE.
Well, they understand that they understand that backing off the pro wrestling tees, how that whole model worked. But they're also safeguarding themselves in a way. So they're gonna do something that is intentionally bad instead of trying to pull off like a serious pay-per-view, be the Hell in the Cell or Sting Jeff Hardy or whatever they try to have like be move the needle and have it fall apart. That's way more embarrassing. So they're almost playing from they can only move up at that point. If they do fail, well, it was supposed to be shitty, and we did it for the recognition and the views that we're eventually going to get because it was eventually nostalgic. But on the same time, it's all profit at that point, especially if they're going to do it once a year. I guarantee they do it 4 times now. They have to do it 4 times.
We'll see. I mean, again, it's a content driver. So now they have content that they can put on their podcast sites. It's something that they can, license to other people if they're so interested in doing it. It opens up different things. So when we talk about this pandemic being very stifling, not only does it give us some entertainment, but it opens up and it diversifies their own content generation. So for that, as a marketing and content generator myself, I was entertained. But for the mere thing alone of sitting there and watching it and going, for all of the cinematic matches we've had, I was pretty entertained by the sense of this is almost an absurd version of when people complain about things being overwritten. I said, that was so overwritten, it was beautiful. So good for them. It proves that there's a nice different avenue for all of that. Anyway, Mike, do you have any closing thoughts for us before we sign off for today?
Raph, there's Antifa is in. There's a new faction. What are you talking about? Closing remarks. How can you even sleep when they ruined the generator? It's Antifa. It's 70 days they've been protesting outside the performance center. Wrestlers for whatever. I don't get that. I don't have any. I don't know. This has all been. I'm kind of getting back into it, and I think it's solely because of the AEW. It's so fucking good, dude. It's so good. That's what wrestling's supposed to be. I don't know why people are back and forth about it. I don't mind NXT. I just don't think their roster is anything exciting right now. I'm going to enjoy them just tearing to shreds your WWE BJJ concept on national TV for about 3 weeks and then forgetting about it.
You know what the nice part is? I already told people, because we had people hit me up when we were putting out certain, victory laps with it. And I said, don't worry, we're going to do something like that. When we're able to train and do all of our sort of stuff as per usual, we've already got ideas kicking. So don't be surprised.
Just dig a big pit at the beach, like a huge shellac pit, and go do it down there. Find some weird rave warehouse.
I'm not going to reveal anything yet, but we'll figure something out. And I mean, as it is, there's something funny about when people can't train, when they start sending me ideas. They're like, I want to do this. And I go, whoa, buddy. Hey, it's coming. Just keep that in mind. So
I bet you can get John Clap Van Dam and maybe Shaggy 2 Dope to come host it.
We'll see. I mean, we'll have to break things up over time. All right, Mike. Well, that's a very solid check-in. I'm glad that we're able to see some wrestling. I'm glad that you're feeling back up to the things and you're excited to see wrestling back again, sir.
Yeah, let me get my JCVD ICP. What, you joking? It's kind of. Do you see me thinking about it, trying to put the letters together flawlessly?
I mean, the nice part about it is I think you should.
Oh shit!
Keep a notepad next to you so you could write it.
No, I forgot real quick. You're out in LA. We don't have to go harp on it, but Free Joe Kelly. That's how you put a. That's how you get over in the business. It took 3 hours for this guy to become a household celebrity. But we can have a whole another 3-hour dissertation on that.
Absolutely.
So I could do with or without sports, but it's nice. Yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to be entertained and back on, feeling some kind of normalcy. So hope everybody stays safe. I know you're feeling it out there because California's garbage.
Yeah, to say the least.
Horse shit right now.
The
Vegas
nice part
ain't any better right now.
Yeah, I think the idea is, we're seeing signs of life a little bit of everywhere. So we hope that you guys stay safe. We hope that you guys are staying sane. We will be back
Shut
sooner
it
than
down.
later. Don't promise
Shut it
when, but
down.
I'll tell you this.
No football.
We'll be able
No
to continue seeing you guys. If you haven't joined us and followed us on all of our media platforms, go do so at Real Hill Section. Give your friends some love, and that's what we got for you today. My name is Rafa Sparza. This is Mike Stallings. Thank you so much for watching today.
Too sweet, me.